Welcome back, all you paranormal pondering people. Welcome to Michelle's Paranormal Pathways. We've been talking about the house in between and knowing your light sources and knowing where your team members are and how not knowing that can self-contaminate a really good investigation and basically turn it into a big, trash heap. So let's jump into this really quick because I'm still having trouble with my SD card. Yes, I know. Oops, sorry. So here we go. Trying to do this in a different way. Not all my videos will be done this way, of course, but I hadn't planned on doing this as a video in the first place. So that's why this is done a little bit screwy. So when the original first investigator, the guy who was an armchair investigator who liked to watch videos and wanted to do filming, but, had never really done anything before. So when he contacted Alice and said, "Can I come and help you?" and she said yes, and he had a few anomalous things happen and he didn't know what to do next, he did the smart thing. He called for help from people that he believed had experience. The problem is, what kind of experience? He doesn't know what the intent is behind what they're investigating or what they're doing. So, he did the right thing, but sometimes it's hard to tell, is it really the right thing or not? So he calls in these people who come in, and eventually these investigators go, yeah, there's something going on, and the Absolute Documentaries people get involved. I don't know what the timeline or the time frame was because it's all weird. But they bring in floor level. Now, it's a digital floor level. I would prefer that they use an old-fashioned, a wooden, or it doesn't necessarily have to be wooden, it could be a plastic level with a little tube and a bubble in it that you put on the floor, like an old-fashioned carpenter's level, because digital equipment is lovely, and, young people these days trust in digital stuff more than the original old-fashioned ways of doing investigations. But if you believe that the paranormal can actually interfere with electronic equipment, that could be a problem. If there is EMF in the house or something else going on that we don't know about, could this affect the digital equipment? Yes, it could. So I don't really trust digital equipment, but he did the floor. Floor seems level. We're like, okay, I'm digging this, and I was digging this for a while. And he checks the floor here, still level. Isn't that amazing? And then he goes to the top of the stairs, which is where we've got the balls and the toys and stuff set up on the stairs. He puts his digital level down, and he says, oh, it's slightly off up here, but I don't think that would make the ball roll down. That is a massive red flag. Number one, he doesn't say how off it is. If he doesn't believe that it's off enough to cause the ball to roll down, then he should give us an example like, it's, 0.0 blah, blah, blah off. That's not enough to cause that. But he doesn't give you any actual idea. Was it really off? Was it really on level up here? We don't know. But to make the announcement that I don't think it's unlevel, but I don't think that would affect it, it's almost like he's trying to write off the fact that there could be an issue up here, but they so badly want to get something paranormal that they're willing to overlook it. I'm not saying that's what happened, but there are people out there that will take a fact like that, and because they want their outcome to be, X, and that fact doesn't fit into X, then they just write it off or don't talk about it. That's a red flag. So, like, if you find a factual piece of evidence, you can't just say, oh, well, that won't affect it. And another good piece, the main investigator guy went in the closet under the stairs and banged the ceiling a few times to see if he could knock anything off the stairs, and he couldn't. So, you know, that was good investigating. Now, everybody's all focused on the ball, and when you're watching this, now this is out of focus because I tried to get a close-up. There is a weird anomaly coming across the screen here. You can see it really much better when it's coming across the wood part. Oops, what did I do? Where's my arrow? That's what I did. I tried to zoom in. It's like really kind of hard to see and it gets pixely. This didn't happen in any of the other pictures of the stairs. You can see it better here. And it does go across the entire staircase. You can see it runs here, here, and then comes up. Is it a light anomaly? Is it a piece of string? Is it something else? I will never be able to know, and neither will anybody watching this. But because everyone's watching the ball and the toys, nobody notices this, and they don't talk about it in the documentary. I mean, it could be a light from above reflecting off the lens and making some curved line, but it could also be a prop or string or something. It would have been coming out. There's the ball. This is a nighttime shot, by the way. It could be something coming out down in behind, but it pretty much, you don't see anything. That's a little freaky, but the reason I wanted to show this picture, know your light source. So you've got a mirror in the hallway. You've got a reflective surface here. You've got this light here. And during the video, across here very quickly is what looks like an orb going by. It is definitely not an orb. It is light reflecting. And then you have to remember that back here on this wall, it's an A-frame house that's all glass. So if someone's coming into the driveway, for instance, or driving along the road out front, which is not that far away from the front of our house, there could be a lot of light contamination in this house. And let's go here. You can see right here is where it is. It moves very fast, and to get us still on the actual light going by was really difficult. And you can note before, it's not there. It's definitely a light. They don't say that it's an orb or anything like that, because I think the documentary crew knew that is just a light reflection. And you can tell basically because as you move the camera, or if you notice it and you follow it and it follows the camera, you can tell that it is a light reflection. But if you're, never done very many investigations and you're new to it, and you see a light and you're very excited because, oh my God, we got something. And as you move the camera, it's moving around and it's moving in a weird way, like a UFO where it's like at, 90-degree turns and stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, it must be intelligent. No, it's a light reflecting into the lens of your camera, but it can give the appearance of being an orb. So that is something you need to keep in mind. And there we go again. You can see it. And then we go back to getting ready for the big, oh, something's happening. And you can see the ball is moving. And the reason that this is so important, know where your team is. When the big thing happens at the end of the documentary and the ball rolls down the hill and there is sheer chaos. And when you watch the video, you will notice this. But what you don't notice is in the corner here. This particular investigator is in and out of a doorway or something under the stairs several times. And as the ball is clearly rolling down the stairs now, there is self-contamination. I don't care what their conclusion is, to say out loud there was no one in the house, there was no one there is clearly incorrect. So you need to know where your team members are. And there we go. We got another little blow up of them. There we go, just in case you didn't see it the first time. This is a different time, different setup on the stairs. And we can clearly see Alice here. Now, she was over here, and her arm was out this way. I'm not saying that she was doing anything, but quite clearly, she moves this way. And there you close up so you can see that she's definitely there. She turns with a surprised expression as the ball rolls down the stairs. Well, it hasn't even hit the next step yet. So how did she know it was rolling down the stairs? That's something that if you do investigations, you would notice. Because it happens really quickly and they're just showing clips, boom, 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 throughout the documentary, you may not know that. But clearly there is contamination in many places. One good thing that they do, something happens and someone tells a story, a neighbor, and they bring in a psychic to try and confirm what's going on. Before the psychic was brought in, they had a trainer with her sniffer dog trying to substantiate, is this going on? Like, what's going on? Like, so they did really good investigative work. Someone tells a story. They try to back it up with a psychic and a sniffer dog, of which they don't find things. But why I did this clip, you've got 2 cars parked in her driveway, plus the investigator who just showed up. So, like, there's 3 cars. One of these probably belongs to Alice. Of course, it's her driveway. Oh, there's another car. Oh, there's another car and another car. There's a lot of cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. And we've already seen that the rooms are not overly huge. So this is the psychic talking. The cameraman, he's got a very high mic on his camera. And this is really important for something that happens later on with the chandelier in the room. So let's get through. When you get to this part where they do the 4-way split screen, it's just before they get the ball rolling down the stairs. This is important because we're still saying there's no one in the, like there was no one in the room, the ball just rolled down by itself. So you need to know where the team members are, and you need to pay attention to the chandelier. There we go. These are all the people that aren't in the house. Now they're getting, this is the last day of the documentary, they're packing up a lot of the equipment because they need to get it back. It's all rented. And there's a lot of people moving around. And again, there's some stuff going on that you can see. We've got another person directly under the stairs. There's his arm, legs. He moves through really, really quickly. And the ball does start to move in a split second. Here he is again. And there we go. Completely self-contamination is so probable and possible. The fact that this guy walked through and within a second, like, the ball is now moving. That is completely self-contamination. So now they're all running around like crazy. And I did this for comparison to show you how close he is to this chandelier. And the cameraman's running around. There's a lot of people running around. And at the end of the movie, or the documentary, the first investigator is going through every inch of video, which you should do. That's what a good investigator does. He notices that this is moving, and it's like really slowly moving back and forth. And he's so sure that that's paranormal. Knowing where your team is and self-contamination would put into question, is it paranormal? Like, why are you making that decision when clearly there are people within feet of this? The front door is open. There could be even wind coming through that door because there's a very little space. It would hit that door and come into the room. So you really, really need to know where your team members are. And of course, at one point, they even show a door opening and closing in this for effect, I'm assuming. Now, the main investigator, or he appears to be the main investigator in the documentary, he thinks he heard the door bang or open, and he's trying to smash it into the closet to recreate the sound that he heard. That's good investigating. But there's bad investigating that happened just seconds before this, where the guy ran through the house. Could the door have blown open and hit the closet door and created a problem? Well, he's trying to figure that out. Was there somebody also under the stairs, moving where the stairs were? Could he have stepped on a floorboard and created a vibration? Yeah, he could. And here we are, like the last conclusion of the video. Here's Alice with the priest, and he's doing the blessings and trying to clear the house. And this in of itself is a major, major, major problem. There was some light contamination. There was some team contamination. And why is this a problem? Like a big problem? Well, in the next video, my conclusions, I will explain to you a surprise that we find out near the end of the video. And I went in and did some research, and I found out something else that absolutely shocked me, which can create a different look on this whole outcome. So I'm going to do the conclusions in just a moment. It's not going to take very long because, it's just boom, boom. This is how I feel. Still, would I recommend watching A House in Between by Absolute Documentaries? Absolutely. It's a very interesting situation. It's a really good learning tool. Were there bad things that happened in this movie, or mistakes possibly made? I believe yes. Was there good investigation techniques used? Yes, I believe there was. So I'll let you ponder this while I